You growing up, you didn't get to watch anything like that.
Yeah, no, horror movies were completely off the table because that was inviting demonic presence into your temple. Welcome to Deconstruction Diary. We are two women who were raised in Young Earth Creationism, and we are now learning science, history, critical thinking, and politics because you never stop learning.
I'm Rose.
I'm Stephanie.
And let's get chatting. So, we recently watched Nosferatu.
Oh, we did.
Yes.
Yes, we did watch Nosferatu.
It was beautiful.
It was amazing.
The original was the first horror movie I ever watched. I got into a lot of trouble in the sense that my mom was like, if you have nightmares for a week, it's your fault.
How old were you?
I was probably about 14 or 15.
Okay.
I had been banned from horror movies because I was a really sensitive kid and I had struggled with nightmares already. And so my mom was very big on like no horror ever whatsoever. And then she caught me watching Nosferatu and it was very much, okay, that's on you.
I knew what you were getting into.
Yeah. She's like, you're scared at night, it's your own fault. But no, the remake we watched just recently and it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. I'm still kind of like, it's one of those ones I feel like we could watch multiple times.
Oh, I was like, we could just put it back on again.
Yeah,
I realized
that immediately watch it over again.
I realized that I really like watching movies just twice in a row. Like I'll sit there and watch it and then I'll put it back on and like dilly around on my phone or whatever, but be able to grasp all those details that I sit there for 3 hours and be like, wait, what is going on?
The framing was beautiful. The story was beautiful. The metaphor was beautiful. Like there was so much in it just to take in. And I'm going to say this and it's going to sound like it was really nice to see like traditional vampires going back to what vampires used to be before they started to sparkle.
Yeah, there was no sparkle.
No, there was no sparkle.
There was no sparkle. It was definitely very classic horror. Was not Hollywoodized, if you want to call it that.
No.
It wasn't. It was very well done.
It was extremely well done. It was definitely a fun watch and a good watch and a watch again for sure. But I know also like you growing up, you didn't get to watch anything like that.
Yeah, no, horror movies were completely off the table because that was inviting demonic presence into your temple. And it's actually something that I struggled with from the concept of my mom would always, ask other people or, just bring it up. Like, why are you making yourself scared? Why put yourself through a negative emotion? And as an adult who's come out of Christianity, fundamental Christianity, it's still part of like, well, I don't have an answer to that question. I just like watching scary movies.
Why do we like scaring ourselves?
Why do we like scaring ourselves? Because from a fundamental Christian perspective, it does seem odd.
It does. It's like from a secular standpoint, we like scaring ourselves for the same reason we like jumping out of planes.
Thrill.
There is a dopamine pop from it. From coming close to death and surviving is a huge dopamine dump. And that is why we enjoy doing it.
No, that makes sense.
And yeah, something about the being afraid and then living through it is a massive dopamine dump. And that's why like people like me with adrenaline issues like to do the really scary stuff. Like the roller coasters and stuff. I don't know if I'd jump out of a plane.
Oh, I want to jump out of a plane.
I think I would probably do a tandem jump.
I know you're required to tandem X amount of times before you're allowed to even do it alone. You tandem jump with an instructor.
I think my survival instinct would be too strong for me to jump alone. Like
I would love to get there. I'm all about let's go skydiving. And bungee jumping.
I think I could do a tandem though.
I could definitely do a tandem because then you can hold like the camera and get your reaction and everything.
Well, that's why people like fighting. It's the same thing.
That's true.
If you've ever been like in a fight and you come out of it, it doesn't matter if you won or lost the fight. You feel like you're 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
And that's that dopamine rush.
But I mean, even with movies, it's the same as watching sad movies.
Yeah, the catharsis.
It was okay to watch sad movies, but it wasn't okay to watch scary movies because anything scary was considered evil
and inviting
and demonic.
Yeah, demonic. That's true.
Yeah, and it's one of those like I can give it to them if you're gonna follow that belief system. That one at least makes sense. From their perspective, like, yeah. But so no, I did not watch any horror movies. I don't know if I can say what my first one was.
It's probably something you watched with me.
I know Conjuring was early on, and
it was either me or
Dan
that corrupted you.
I can't remember what my first one was. I really like The Conjuring. I had Hereditary.
Yeah.
What are the ones with the ghosts?
Paranormal Activity.
We did watch that one. Oh, I guess I'm thinking of The Conjuring.
Yeah.
Where the two husband and wife go in and check the house.
Yeah, that's the
Conjuring.
That's the Conjuring.
Yeah, okay. So we've watched those. But Nosferatu was really good. I've had to take some jump scare horror break ever since I got pregnant. That did change. My hormones changed with that, and really struggled with body horror.
Yeah,
or jump scares. But no, Nosferatu was beautiful. It was scary in the sense of you really were feeling for the character and feeling the story.
Yeah, it was very empathic.
Yeah,
it was
definitely want to watch that again.
It was glorious. Let's see. Did you have any questions about what you saw?
No, actually.
That's good.
They did it so well.
That's good.
Yeah.
You walked away fully understanding everything.
I did. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yep. And I'm getting better about that too, with movies and shows and all that. The comprehension is growing.
The Supreme Court voted on birthright citizenship yesterday.
I saw that.
And 3 justices said that the 14th Amendment was unconstitutional.
I mean, I guess it wasn't a unanimous vote.
It wasn't. And I guess we could say 3.5 of them, because there was the 1/2. Like, it was a vote for it, but with
reservation,
with conditions.
Oh.
Which was interesting. That's just fascinating to me. Where some people can, like, the amendment was ratified, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's part of the Constitution.
Right, that was going to be my question, to say it's unconstitutional, but it is legit
part of the. So you're saying the Constitution is unconstitutional, which is an interesting move.
Yeah.
Which leads me back to a question I asked in one of the. What is a constitution?
Yes. What is a constitution?
I mean, if we can go around saying the Constitution itself is unconstitutional, what is a constitution? Someone please explain it to me. I need, literally, what is it? Because I was raised believing that what the amendment, when an amendment gets ratified into the Constitution, it is there in stone. It is forever. That is what it is. There is no questioning it. We have made a decision as a country. That's what goes there. And so to have 3 people, fairly well-educated people, justices of the Supreme Court, to say the Constitution's unconstitutional, I have a lot of questions now.
That is fair. Well, and then I saw Trump's response on his True Social was like pulling on Congress to fix it and saying we don't need to change the amendment through the courts. Congress can do it without approval. I can't remember exactly what it was saying. It was obviously very wrong.
I mean, I'm not even sure how you would get an amendment removed.
Have we ever done that? We just added.
I don't think we've ever done that. I do think there's a way to do it, but it's not something that I think we've ever done.
I don't see how.
I think it would require the Supreme Court's.
Yeah, I don't see how one branch of government could change an amendment. It would have to involve all three parts.
Wouldn't it?
I would hope so.
Isn't that the point of the checks and balances?
Well, none of those are being used properly, but I would hope that if we're talking about changing the Constitution,
it would require...
It's going to require everybody.
I mean, it requires everybody to add to it.
Yeah.
So it should require everyone to remove it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he doesn't think that because he's just kind of constantly popping out all of these executive orders. That's my problem.
Don't read it all.
I don't read the whole thing, and that's just purely time. It used to be, I'm not going to understand this, so why even read it? And so now it's like, I'll read it when I have the time, but sometimes...
When do I have the time?
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, it's one thing to skim an article, but if it's pulling all of this information that I don't intuitively have, I'm almost like, okay, I need to go sit in the dark so I can read this 5-minute news article.
That's almost what they're relying on. That's almost what they're counting on when they flood the news with all of these headlines and all of these decisions and things like that. They're banking on the average person like you and me to not be able to keep up with it all.
Yeah, it's going so fast.
So your outrage is limited because you may not even see the headline in time of what is the most upsetting thing.
Right. Like, well, I was just talking to Dan, that all of these news articles about the reflecting pool and the state fair or the national fair and the UFC fight and all this stuff is just distracting. It's constant.
Well, yeah, because we don't want to talk about the fact that we are still bombing Iran.
Yep.
Like anything. Also, we don't want to talk about the files because those are still out there. We don't want to talk about the felon that's in the White House because that's still an issue. I'm trying to be really tactful because I know these videos are going on YouTube and I don't want to get us demonetized. I am absolutely the person who will say the whole thing and get us in trouble.
But she's not allowed to have a channel by herself.
I am the friend that you bring along because you need someone to say the absolutely wild shit. But let's not talk about any of the really serious stuff. Let's talk about the reflecting pool and the fair, which are all terrible things. But let's flood the news on Monday and Tuesday with Supreme Court decisions so that people are focused on that. So we don't talk about the fact that we are still bombing Iran. Mm-hmm. That's still happening on a near weekly basis. And it's controlled outrage.
Yeah.
If you're mad about his ability to fire people, then you're not going to be thinking about everything else you should be mad about.
Mm-hmm.
And that just makes me angrier.
He has...
My pathological demand avoidance gets triggered by that. Don't tell me what I'm supposed to be mad about.
He has military walking the perimeter of the reflecting pool to make sure nobody can...
He has AI generated cameras watching it that are talking to the military he has circling the pool because it thinks they are loitering.
Step away from the bar.
I don't know if y'all have seen this video clip. She might be able to edit the clip in, but that's just... This is supposed to be public property too. This is supposed to be public grounds.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be our public grounds. As Americans, we already don't have a right to roam. Which is very frustrating to me.
I mean, isn't the White House the Americans' property?
Yes, it's public grounds.
It's public grounds, yeah.
It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be anyway, but we already don't have a right to roam. We can't walk anywhere we want as Americans. So it's but things like the monuments and the reflecting pool, those are parks.
Right.
That we're supposed to be able to walk through, but you made a mistake putting in your as a trailer park girl, trailer park lining on your pool, and now we can't walk through our park.
Yep.
Got it.
I went a lot to DC growing up as a kid. It's beautiful.
I've never been. I've never been.
I want to go back. Like, it is beautiful. And all the monuments and the libraries and the exhibits and stuff. I didn't get to do
to a museum so fast.
I didn't get to do a lot of. We didn't do everything, but it was. I always enjoyed my trips there.
Yeah,
it's pretty.
I've never been able to go.
Oh, I'm not sure you should go right now, though.
I feel like if I don't go right now, I'm not ever going to be able to see it in the state.
That's fair. You're not wrong.
Like, that might be a really doom and gloom thing to say, but I feel like this might be your last chance to see it in the condition it's in now, before some kind of revolution takes over and we burn it all to the ground. Like, that might happen. It's getting warmer. It's getting warmer.
I'm going to talk back to the birthright citizenship. What were you raised on with the belief of with citizenship?
Like, how do you mean?
Like, was your family pro birthright citizenship? Was it even a thing? Did it come up in conversation?
It was ratified into the Constitution, and therefore it wasn't questioned.
Yeah.
Like, it just wasn't questioned. Like, that's there in the Constitution. That's what it is. Yeah. End of story. Period. At the end of the sentence.
I have the same.
If you're born on U.S. soil, you are a U.S. citizen.
That's what
regardless of the condition of your parents.
Yeah. And I got that same thing within the Young Earth Creationism. Within fundamental Christianity. It was like, yeah, if you're born here, you get to be a citizen. How cool. This country's awesome.
I had no idea that was even something that was contested. Like, I until recently. And then I just sat there aghast that's, but then again, like, the whole freedom from religion clause, that was another thing, that it's ratified into the Constitution and therefore it's not to be questioned. Anyone can practice any religion at any time in this country. And that's apparently up for debate as well.
Yeah.
Didn't know that was going to be a problem. Okay. Didn't see that one coming. So when the whole birthright citizenship thing, I was blown away. I was like, we're questioning these things? I didn't know we could question these things. I thought this was just like written in stone.
And that's, I think, what's so frustrating.
Frustration of just, I didn't even know that was an option. Like, I didn't know we could argue. They did. I mean, it goes back to the whole, I didn't know we could call the Constitution unconstitutional. I know how much trouble birthright citizenship has gone through. I didn't know how long it's been around.
How long has it been around?
1608.
So before we were even a country.
Cool.
Oh, that's what it was. That was my frustration, is that the people that are trying to end this and change this are doing it on the grounds of, well, that's not how the country was originally formed. The country was originally formed as a Christian nation and all this stuff. And it's like, go ahead. You're really trying to use the base of your argument as the history of the nation when we have the history of the nation on paper.
And the argument they're using is they're basing it off of the Dred Scott decision. They're saying, well, that wasn't always in the Constitution. That's not one of the original 10 amendments. Okay, cool. But the Dred Scott decision was put in place to keep, like, slaves from being citizens. And that's why it got overturned after the Civil War. That's why the amendment got put in place.
Yeah.
Because we were doing really shady stuff. Mm-hmm. That we shouldn't have been doing, that didn't align with the intentions put in place. So we had to put a rule down. It's like when you read a contract and you get to the bottom and there's that one really crazy rule. Warranties. You're reading your warranty and you get to the bottom, it says not responsible for acts of God. There's a story there. There's a reason why that line's there. Like, there's a reason we had to put it on paper. It was a given since 1608 that if you're born on the soil, then you are what's the phrasing? What's the phrasing? If you're born on the soil, then you're automatically assumed to be allegiant to that soil and therefore entitled to protection. So, okay, cool. But we weren't doing that, so they had to put in a line.
Yeah, to make sure that it was the same for everybody.
Like, it's one of those, like, well, it wasn't always there. It was assumed until one of y'all went and ran with it and claimed acts of God. And now we can't assume things anymore, and we had lawyers had to write in.
Mm-hmm. Well, I heard that was one of Trump's arguments, was that the Birthright Citizenship Amendment was for the slaves and therefore not applicable today. That's an argument that he's trying to stand on. I believe.
That may be the argument he's trying to stand on, but what happened with the Chinese Exclusion Act, which is a crazy thing to look into, have fun with that. There was the research in real time. There was the U.S. versus Wong Kim arc that happened, that the Supreme Court ruled that no, this really does apply to immigrants as well as the enslaved.
Mm-hmm.
And so he doesn't really have a foot to stand on because we've already had this argument.
Right. Well, I'm not saying he has a foot to stand on,
but like, we've already had this argument. We've already hashed this out. And I think that's why I'm so blown away that it's even up in the air. I'm like, we're doing this again. We're doing this again. And then you got to ask yourself, like, is there a way to put down people's rights where they can't be questioned? And then I spiral.
You mean, like, is there a way to make an amendment and it never be questioned again?
Yeah. I mean, I guess not.
I'm going to say probably not, because that's how government styles change.
It's just wild to me because I was always raised like that's the rules and everybody follows them and we don't change them. Like, once one's there, we might have to add to it because people misbehave. But once one's there, it's there forever.
It's there forever.
Like, that's what I was taught.
Mm-hmm. I mean, in a different wording, yeah. And I think that's what is kind of weird for me to understand, is to see this change in the Christian nationalist movement of anti-immigrant and anti-birthright citizenship. And I'm like, but we were all for it. I mean, we tried to adopt a child from China.
Yeah.
We were very, like, everybody's included. My parents taught me not to be racist. Like, yeah. And so to see this come out, and I'm like, I'm so confused.
There was such a big push. There was such a big anti-racism push in the 90s. In church, as well as in society. And then all of a sudden to have it pivot around. And then everybody's like, all anti-immigrant, and I'm sitting here going, but you said liberty and justice. You made me quote liberty and justice for all every damn day.
My whole childhood was how America's a melting pot because of the immigrants.
Yeah.
So why? It feels like a fundamental
and I didn't even know Christian nationalism was a thing until about 6 years ago. Like, I didn't even know. Like, I feel a little bit dumb because I really thought it was like a localized problem. I didn't realize this was a whole political movement. But like, growing up in the 90s and the early 2000s, you were fed constantly from church and from school and from television and from radio this whole inclusion and acceptance, and now you want to pivot. Now you want to pivot. That's wild.
It's very weird.
That's wild.
And us both being married to a different race is also
that's deeply impacted me.
Yeah,
that's impacted me in ways that I can't even describe, because like I know that being white and having experienced the late 80s, early 90s, I know that I'm going to come off and I'm going to say something inappropriate, and I am so deeply grateful to all of my friends and my husband for being willing to be like, yeah, no, don't say that. And I am happy to make those adjustments, but being married to someone who is not white has completely shifted everything, I think, in a way that I don't know if you can.
Until you're in it. Yeah.
Until you're in it. Mm-hmm. Like you can't see some of this stuff. You're blinded. You got a blind spot until you're living in the house with it. And then it's like, oh, that's uncomfortable.
Well, and now I have a mixed child. A mixed race child, and that is also very different.
And
to think about. Yeah. It's a different experience. It's very different. I agree. My eyes have been opened in ways that you probably can't understand. It's the same as having a baby. Yeah. Some things you're just not quite going to understand, which is fine until you're in it. But that's why knowledge is important.
No, and experience.
And experience.
And trusting people when they're telling you what their experience is. That's a big one.
Yeah.
When someone's sitting there and telling you what their experience is that's the perfect time to shut up, be quiet, and listen. I know lots of people who don't know how to do that.
It's important to listen to other people's experiences.
Yeah. But it's wild. It's wild how they just, it felt like it was, it probably wasn't. It probably was just the peers that I was surrounded with, but it felt like it came from left field. The whole birthright citizenship thing.
Yes, like I feel that too.
Felt like it came out of nowhere. Now, again, it could just be like where I was at. It was not something that was being talked about, but I got whiplash from that one.
I did too. It wasn't like all talked about all the time, but it was always talked about as a very positive pro.
Yeah, give me your week. Give me your, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Statue. Of course, my family came in through Ellis Island. So the Statue of Liberty and all of that, that's, yes. Absolutely. Every immigrant's here legally or illegally because they want a better life and they deserve a shot.
And this is the land of the free.
Yeah. Like,
it was always everybody needs to come to America almost.
Yeah. Like,
so it is a very harsh U-turn.
It was just very much like, what? We're questioning what? We're questioning what?
Why?
Why? This is something we can question. I didn't know that was something someone could do.
Oh, so we're really questioning the Constitution then.
Yeah. And then it becomes scary because then it's like, what else are you going to question? If we can...
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because we've had to have those conversations. Like, well, what would that mean for our immigrant family?
Yeah, on their side and on mine. Like, how far back are they going to go? Technically, my grandfather came here illegally.
Yeah.
Like, how... I have questions. I have questions and concerns.
Yes. And I don't feel good about it.
The Vera Rubin Observatory camera, which is the largest digital camera in the world. Fun news. Got some very cool shots. You're welcome to look them up, put some of them on the screen. If she does that in editing, just some like fun stuff about this camera. This is a 3,000 kilogram camera. For those of you who don't know, that's more than 6,000 pounds. It's the size of a small car. it takes pictures of the southern sky, so the southern hemisphere sky. And it takes a picture of the entire southern sky every 3 days. So it 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. At least that's my understanding of it. And it has gotten some really cool shots and some really cool information about the universe expanding.
Oh,
yes.
Cool.
So
We're
that
talk about raisins and dough.
we can talk about raisins and dough.
Balloons, stickers.
We can talk about raisins and dough. Because it is so consistent and because it is such a broad view, we can actually see the galaxies moving into the redshift. We can actually see that
cool.
production, that movement, and that has been a really fun thing to happen in space and technology.
Where is this camera?
That's a good question. Let me find out. It is in Chile.
Okay. That makes sense. It's in the southern hemisphere.
Yep. I was figured it was either somewhere in South America or Australia.
Oh, Australia. Okay.
Yeah.
No, space has been one of the funnest things for me to learn coming out of Young Earth Creationism, because you can't learn anything about space if you're going to believe that the Earth is 6,000 years old. If you believe the universe is 6,000 years old, let me be even more crazy.
God, yeah.
You can't
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, you can't learn about space. Like, yeah, I learned the solar system and I learned the order of the planets, and Pluto was a planet.
You did not know how the solar system came about, though.
No, I knew how it looked.
That was, yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't know how it came about.
Oh, yeah, God said.
God said.
Yeah.
God said.
I remember.
So it was just like, okay, this is what it looks like. We're just going to talk about what it looks like.
Yeah, because this is just how it's always been.
Yeah, there was no pre-information at all. So, I mean, I learned about my planets. I learned about orbits.
Yeah.
Which is good.
I never even thought about, like, the universe being 6,000. We always just learned about, when we learned about space, it was always, this was the darkness from which God pulled light. So then it was just easier to accept that the universe was so old, but the Earth itself wasn't.
I guess I can say that I've heard that version as well.
I mean, it creates its own problems because there are plenty of plot holes there.
Yeah. No, we were from there was nothing 6,000 years ago except for God.
The void was the void.
The void was the void, and God brought it in. But remember, I also thought that we were the only solar system in the Milky Way. And that the Milky Way was the only gap. That was the universe.
I remember you looking at me. I remember that. I wish we had gotten that on camera, because you looked at me and was like, there's more than one galaxy. And I had to be like, yes.
And then it was, there's more than one solar system?
Yes.
In this galaxy? And then there's more galaxies? Why?
There's more planets than just our planets.
So that has been one of the coolest things to learn is space.
Space is so much fun, though.
It is. I feel
space is the best.
I feel like I would have gone down that path.
Space is one of those things, like, I always feel like I can talk to anybody about it because it's obvious that it's there. And then I start talking and I can see the glaze in their eyes and I'm like, I should stop. I've touched something. You can tell.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell when you're talking to a young Earth creationist.
Yeah.
In like a social setting, and you cross that line.
Oh yeah, you mentioned like the universe.
Their eyes.
Oh yeah, that they just found a fossil that's 100 million years old.
Yes,
and you'd be like, yeah, sure, okay.
Mm-hmm. You can see the change on their face.
It's almost like, at least for me, it was almost like a sense of fear.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely. Yeah, I could see that.
Because my defensive wall would come right up and this is going to be wrong. I'm going to have to just literally bounce these ideas off so that nothing gets in. And then that contributed to the not understanding, because then people would say these terms that I'm like, I don't know what that means. Redshift. Yeah. It's like, what? Black hole, wormhole. What is all this stuff? And so then you don't even understand what people are trying to say, and you have this frame of mind that everything they're saying is wrong anyway. And so then you're not interested, and you can't follow along, and you can't be part of that conversation, and then you just walk away.
Because rainbows are a miracle.
Yes. Rainbows did not exist before Noah's Ark.
Neither did rain.
Right.
I remember that argument.
Yes.
I remember that argument. And I remember being so deeply confused by it.
Well, the plants just got wet, got their water from underneath the soil.
The dew would settle, and that was enough water. And I'm just like, about that. I feel like there's something off about that.
Well, and so
but I was also too young to argue. Like, I was too young and too uninformed to argue. I just remember having this feeling of being like, okay, doubt, but okay.
I had to process it. Like, the way I had to understand it was that before the fall of man, the universe just, and the world and the way everything worked was just different. And then once the fall of man happened, the entire ecosystem, basically, of the world changed. And it's like, that's a really big jump to have to make as a child to try to understand the before and after.
But it's amazing also what a child's mind can do. Like, you did it.
I did.
Just accepted it.
But so then, okay, let's go down that. So let's say I did accept that the ecosystem, as the word of choice, changed after the fall of man. Well, there still wasn't rain until Noah's Ark.
Right.
So that still doesn't make sense. That means that the ecosystem of the earth was still changing just based off of these actions of God. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just, the mental gymnastics
around all of it
are so extreme. Because as I'm learning, the ecosystem of the earth did change over billions of years.
And it actually, like,
not with just a storm.
Sometimes it happens fairly, like, recently, like within 10,000 years, and then it will change back over the course of another 10,000 years. Like, there's smaller fluctuations in climate that we can expect.
Yeah. But it wasn't.
But there's also, like,
one day there's no rain, and one day there is rain.
Like, no, rain's always existed. And when, like, that for me was your walls of Jericho. Was the rains always existed.
Gotcha.
I remember sitting there as a kid, and I can't remember, because it was my dad, of all people. We were watching a Discovery Channel thing, and they were talking about something, and I was like, yeah, but rain didn't exist before the flood. And my dad looked at me and he was like, rain has always existed. And then I was like, yeah, but in the Bible, he was like, yeah, that's called a metaphor. And I remember sitting there for a minute and going, okay, so if there's metaphor, how do you know what part's metaphor and what part's not? And then I felt like I had asked one of those, like, trick questions, because I got what was it called? A thought
terminating cliche.
Yeah, I got a thought terminating cliche as a response, and it, like, meant to end the conversation. Yeah. And I knew enough at that age that was meant to end the conversation. But I remember just being like, this is, that leads to a whole bunch of other questions I have. Like, hold on.
And see, that is so strange that your dad would go straight. Like, I just didn't get that.
There were so many times where my parents would say something like that. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's obviously metaphor. It's in the Bible. And I'm like, but you just said to take the Bible literally.
Yeah.
And now I'm confused. And now I have questions. So which parts?
Highlight them. Yeah. No, and I was the opposite end. It's the entire word of God is the inerrant, God breathed.
Yeah.
It's 6,000 years old. No, rain did not exist until
And
the flood.
that would lead me to making conclusions and then stating those conclusions, and they would look at me like I just said the most unhinged thing they'd ever heard in their lives and correcting me on it, and I'd be like, I am so confused now. So confused.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Why was there no rain? Well, the plants didn't need it. They just didn't need it until after the flood.
At least you got cohesive all the way through.
That's not cohesive.
It is. They at least kept the same story all the way through.
Yeah, because there's no understanding of how science works.
That's true. But I honestly...
Because all the plants survived being drowned.
At least they stuck to it, man. I gotta give them that. They stuck to it and went with it. Like, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But that's how you also believe that rainbows didn't exist until after the flood.
Yep.
I believed that for a very, very, very long time.
Man.
Very long time.
I'm gonna tell you what, when I learned about light being both a particle and a wave, I thought I had discovered gold, and I was going to disprove all of these arguments, and my mom was just like, what are you talking about? And why are you talking to me about it?
I'm still struggling with that concept. I remember being in the office, like, okay, we're watching a YouTube video of me trying to figure out light particles and waves, and it's like, go back. Okay, I still don't get it. It'll click. One day it'll click.
Like, I was sure I had the answer to the universe and everything right there.
Oh, I would also do that, but I would do that with, like, in the Bible. I would try to, like, be a detective and, like, I'm going to figure this out. And I'm like, I think I'm getting it. I think you're... Oh, okay, that doesn't...
Yeah. Yeah. But at least you didn't go to your parents and like, spout it off. Well, I mean, like, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe I did.
I did.
I had to become very confident in the word of God.
Yeah.
Not meaning just the Bible, but, like, in speaking. Like, I know what God thinks and what God wants. And
you did the same thing, but in a different direction.
Yeah.
Where I was just seen as contrary. Because I was always trying to disprove the Bible, which wasn't necessarily what I was trying to do. I was just trying to make these two very conflicting things match. With a brain that does not do that well.
But that's immediately what they're going to call it. That's that apologetics.
Yeah.
Is, well, if you're trying to fix it, you're not going
to be able to.
You can't. It's God's work.
Because it's wrong.
Yeah.
One of them's wrong anyway. The death toll in France
exceeded
1,000 people. They are officially experiencing a heat dome, which I learned about. Well,
it's a heat dome.
A heat dome, which I can't say I didn't know about it. I've just learned quite a few more details about how they work.
Okay.
Basically, we're all in a pressure cooker right now.
The whole world?
Not the whole world. There's one here that we're about to be under in the southeast, and there's one in Europe right now, and it's results of the jet stream. The very, very high up above the clouds current of air that moves has stalled out.
Oh.
And that stagnation up there creates a warm cap. Like on a pressure cooker.
Oh.
And increases as the air pressure increases, the air heats up.
Oh, God.
As it does in a pressure cooker. And as that pressure heats up, clouds can't form because the pressure's too high.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get rain, you don't get wind, and it just gets warmer and warmer and warmer until you can get a jet stream flowing over and blow that cap off.
Gotcha.
We're just all kind of stuck here in the heat.
And the humidity.
Sometimes the humidity. In some cases, it will get very dry That's where you get your droughts and your wildfires happen.
Okay.
We haven't had a lot of rain, even though it has been a little bit sticky.
Yeah.
I say a little bit sticky. A little bit sticky for this area is like 60% humidity.
That's a good day.
Some people aren't prepared for that.
When it's only like 30 or 40% humidity,
it's dry.
Like,
it's a dry day when it's 30 or 40% humidity. Like,
I can breathe.
Most of the time in the summertime, you can expect around 80%. Every day. So it's weird to not get it.
Yeah,
it's been a very dry summer here.
But then you have pockets where it's so humid.
If you get that weird like afternoon rainstorm, and then all of a sudden the humidity's there, and you're like, oh, there's summer.
Ugh.
There's summer. I recognize her now. Yeah.
Oh.
So France is going through that, and that's a very strange thing for France to be going through.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that quite a few people have died. Because they're just under-equipped.
Yeah.
They're under-equipped for it.
That's just awful.
We, in this area, we're used to getting that at least once a summer.
Yeah. We all prepare for it.
Even before, like, the effects of, like, even when I was a kid, way back in the day, I remember for at least a week or two in the summer, we would get it. And as I've gotten older, I'm going to say, been in this state for 30 years. 30 years, over the course of 30 years. That's a safe bet. 30 years. I can say that it has gotten increasingly worse in the summertime.
Oh, yeah.
It went from like a week or two.
Yeah.
Where it would be this bad.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like you can consistently count on it being that way in the summertime.
Yeah. This summer was weird, though. We had a late heat top.
We did.
It was very cool most of May.
Makes me nervous for the storm season.
Yeah.
Because here in the Southeast, we rely on hurricanes to cool the summer down. And not a lot of people realize that's what hurricanes do when they come through. They actually draw cold air in after them, and it will cool the summer down. So we're not really wanting big, massive, destructive storms, but a Cat 2 on a regular basis will keep the summer livable. And when you have a summer like we're having right now, like the last 2-3 years, we haven't really had any hurricanes come through.
No.
And it's
not up here.
Been devastating, like heat-wise, to not get those storms.
Yeah, it's been really bad. Which was so weird about this year in May, because we had days it was only in the 50s.
Yeah.
It was very, it was not, I wasn't complaining, but I was also like, this is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're not getting the summertime thunderstorms we usually get. It's been off. And it's been off for a long time, but you can definitely tell it's getting worse. Nobody's allowed to tell me that
climate change isn't real.
Change it, yeah. Because I shouldn't be able to see it happen within my lifetime.
I hear
like
you.
if we're talking about just the natural climate change that happens, I shouldn't be able to observe it within my lifetime to the extent that I can. Like, I can tell you distinctly, this did not happen when I was a child. In this area.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Like, seriously. One human lifetime. 30 years.
A couple generations. Isn't it?
That's a single generation. 2 generations. 2 human generations. You should not be able to observe it. It should not be moving that quickly. You can't. No.
But climate change isn't real.
Or we're not responsible for it is another one that they like to tout. Well, climate change is real, but it's natural. It happens all the time. Yeah. Yeah. Not over the course of 30 years.
But if you believe that the universe is only 6,000 years old, you actually can't believe in
ice ages. You can't believe in ice ages either.
But climate change goes with that, because climate change means ice ages, and there's not enough time to do a climate change. So the stance is it's not real. Climate change is real.
Yeah.
Because in order to accept any form of climate change, human caused or not, it will involve more than 6,000 years old.
It's crazy.
I know. So yeah, I was one of those people that would make fun of climate change and global warming as a teenager and someone in my early 20s because that's just what was said. I didn't look into it because that was evil.
I can't remember.
I believe in climate change or global warming, then I don't believe in God. Basically, it's how that.
I think climate change got introduced to me through the reduce, reuse, recycle program in the early 90s in public school, where when they were really pushing recycling and waste reduction. And it was never a controversial subject in my family. It might be now, but it wasn't when I was coming up. It was just something that, like, well, yeah, we're stewards of the planet, so we need to take care of the planet because that's obvious. That's what being a good steward is.
Yeah.
So, like, there was never a lot of conflict over is climate change, is global warming real or not? Because it was global warming back in the day. It was just a very, well, this is obvious that we should be taking better care of the planet. And we should be taking better care, managing our resources better, because that's what good stewards do. And that's what we're commissioned to do in the Bible. So it was just, I don't think there was any, like, confliction. And then by the time I fully understood what global warming was and what it's doing, we were well past the point of loose bricks. And my mom was just very much like, yeah, okay, there she goes again. And we lost her to another point.